And it's live. Welcome everyone back to 305 Takes. Now, you guys might be wondering, where's Miles? Miles right now is currently taking care of some personal stuff. So, if he can get it done, he will join us. If not, he will not be here today. So, but don't worry, Miles will be back. He just has to take care of some stuff right now, so it'll just be me today doing a quick pod for you guys. And yeah, we're going to get straight into it today before our Football Friday. I just want to mention this episode of 35 Takes is sponsored by E2G Sports, where you guys can get all your latest news on NBA, NFL, MLB news on all over. You could check out their YouTube channel, where you can see podcast 305 Takes, others, First Information, Patriots Place. You could check out a bunch of them. If not, you could also check out their website where you could listen to the podcast or read news if you are more of a reader on e2gsports.com. So now let's get to our Football Friday, and I'm going to talk about games to watch this weekend. And a game that really interests me outside of the Dolphins Bills, I really find some of these intriguing because the matchups are good if you look at them on paper at the beginning of the year, but they just haven't been the best. So one I do generally like a lot. I do like Ravens Browns. I think Ravens Browns can be a very good game with the Browns and Deshaun Watson now trying to get, the hang of things. I do feel like they could put up a very good game, but I also feel like with the Ravens, I feel like they can play a very strong game. These are two teams, they know each other very well. So this could definitely be a good game. I could see the Ravens defense playing very well. They could probably get maybe the Browns to like 18-ish points. If they could keep the game within like a field goal, I do believe the Ravens have a very good shot of winning this game because division rivals in the AFC North, they usually play very, very tough games. They're always really close. So I'm not too mad about that game. I feel like it could be one of the better games this weekend. And it's going to be on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. I feel like this is a very good game. People could catch. And it won't be I don't think it will be that bad. Another good game that I like is Titans Chargers. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, there's a lot of playoff implications in this. One, the Chargers are trying to sneak their way back into the playoffs while the Titans are trying to hold firm and win the AFC South by the end of the season. So right now we have the Chargers who are on a roll after having a huge win over the Miami Dolphins, and we have the Titans now coming in after a loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars where they just simply did not look good. And if I had to go into this game thinking who do I like more, I personally like the Chargers more. I feel like now they're a lot of their players are starting to get healthy. They're Joey Bosa, well, not Bosa. They should have some guys in the secondary. I do believe Derwin James should be able to play. Maybe Bryce Callahan can play. They do have all their wide receivers now. Wide receivers back now. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. So to pair with Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler, I feel like they should have a very solid game. And I'm not a big fan of the Titans' defense. The defensive line I think is good, but the other two levels I'm not the biggest fan of them. So I feel like the Chargers should have a good day on offense for them. And then as for the Chargers defense, even though they might get some players back this weekend, I still like this Titans offense because one, the Chargers just simply can't stop the run. And then if the Titans can just run the ball with Derrick Henry and maybe some of their other backs who they choose to use, I feel like they can definitely make this a close game. If not, they could probably control this game from start to finish. It all just depends on the play calling and how the Titans really approach this game. Because I feel like the Titans have a very good chance of winning, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers come back and win this game. And these are two teams that are 7-6. It's definitely a much closer game than people want to give it credit for. So I feel like this one could be really good. And then my last game, I'd say for you guys to watch, I like Giants Commanders. I feel like that could be actually a very good game. I feel this is going to be a more defensive game than anything. So if you are a fan of defense, I feel like this is probably the game to watch. Offense, I'm just going to be truth with it. I don't like both offenses. Yeah, Washington with Taylor Heineke, they do look more poised on offense and they are more aggressive on offense. But it's just they're pretty inconsistent with the offense. I feel like with Taylor Heineke at the helm, it's Terry McLaurin or bust. But now with Brian Robinson there, they've been able to implement a somewhat of a running game. So I do feel like they can probably get some points. But I just feel like now with the way both teams are going, I feel like Washington should win this game. But I don't know. I mean, the Giants defense, they're not that bad. Secondary wise, I feel like they could use a lot of help, but the defensive line, they're really good. I like Kayvon Thibodeau. I like what he's shown this year. They still have Williams. They have Dexter Lawrence. They have a really solid line. Linebackers are they're okay. Secondary wise, I feel like they're really struggling. So to me, if the Giants defensive line cannot get it after Taylor Heineke real quick, I feel like it's going to be a long day for the Giants because I feel Washington is only getting healthier, and there's a good chance that Chase Young plays this weekend. And if Chase Young could play, that's really going to help that defense and really kind of hone in on Saquon Barkley. Because we've seen the past couple of weeks, if teams could take out Saquon, there's really not a good chance the Giants win the football game. So I could definitely see the Washington defense having a very good day against this team, unless Daniel Jones just kind of takes over. But on the bright side for the Giants, Daniel Jones has had a very good record against the Washington Commanders. He's also had very good games against Washington, so I feel like maybe they could get a good game or performance out of the offense. If to me, if the Giants could probably hit like 150 yards rushing and like 180 passing, I feel like they have a very good chance to win this ball game. If they keep the score close going into the fourth quarter, that's just where I feel like mistakes will happen because teams beat themselves in the fourth quarter. It's not that they don't want to; it's just that's what happens. It's nothing against them, but I just don't like their offense enough. Their offense is so inconsistent. I understand Brian Dable has done great things with that team, but it's only a matter of time that coaching can take you so far. You do need that quarterback. You need a better offensive line. You need weapons that are going to be more consistent and healthy on the field, which unfortunately for the Giants, that just hasn't panned out this year. Sterling Shepard went out really quick. Kenny Galladay, I have no idea if he still plays. Uh, Tight end, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know who's the tight end for the Giants. Oh well, Bellinger is the tight end for the Giants. And then outside of Saquon, I really haven't seen anything. Richie James doesn't scare me if I'm a defense. So I feel like Washington can very much win this game, especially since this is at Washington. I could see Washington winning by like a touchdown, a one score. I feel like that would be solid. If anyone wants to bet on it, the spread now is 5 points. Washington as the favorites. Um, I feel like it's not that bad. If I would take the five because they could either win by four or by a field goal, which are very doable considering the NFC East games this year. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to that, or maybe who knows, one team makes it a one score game late that makes it that 4 to 3 points, and then they try to get the onside kick and it doesn't succeed, and the other team just takes a knee, and that's, you still are within the five. So for anyone out there who might be interested in betting on the game, I recommend doing it. I feel like it's not a bad bet. It's a solid bet, 5 points. If it was six, I'd definitely take it right now. But right now, I would say that the five is a solid bet. It's a very solid bet. I feel like you should be good with that bet. And now I would say in terms of other games for this week, uh Jets Lions kind of, but with Mike White out now, I don't see it going anywhere because I'll just read to you guys some of the games. Colts Vikings, not a fan of it. Eagles Bears doesn't interest me. The Eagles should win. Falcons Saints, this has a lot of playoff implications, but these are two like bad teams going at it, so I'm not gonna be too interested in this game. Panthers Steelers, they have the same record, but it's just bad football. Jaguars Cowboys, I'm pretty sure after last week, I think Dallas will wake up because I don't think they want to lose to a team that is shouldn't be in the playoffs. Nothing to Jacksonville. I just don't believe they are there yet as a team. I do love the progression I've seen from Trevor Lawrence in the offense, but the defense, they're just still not good. So I do see maybe maybe the Jaguars can get close in this game, but if the Cowboys do wake up and recognize what happened after last week, I believe they should win this game very easily. Chiefs, Texans. I don't think we all need to talk. That's Chiefs. Cardinals, Broncos. The Broncos are already eliminated. The Cardinals, Kyler Murray just tore his ACL, so I'm expecting Colt McCoy versus Russell Wilson. Let's ride. That's just bad. Then we have Patriots versus Raiders in Las Vegas. Maybe it could be a good game, but with the Patriots offense, man, they're just so inconsistent. It's so bad. The play calling has not helped them out. Bengals, Buccaneers. This could going into the year, this was one of the games that really excited me. But after seeing the Buccaneers this year, man, that's just that's a bad football team. That's a bad football team. So I don't recommend watching that. And then Monday night, uh, Rams, Packers. Going into this season, I'm pretty sure we all thought that was going to be one of the best games of the year. But at this point, no, it's not. It's not a good game at all to watch. I don't feel like it's I feel like it could be good, but I also wouldn't be surprised if this is a bad game at all. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh man. But you gotta love that. You gotta love football because we have no idea what to expect going into the season and we don't know what's gonna happen. Oh man. Well, and now let's talk some fantasy football. So to update everyone, in the league me and Miles are in, we just started the fantasy football playoffs. And right now, Miles is the 1 seed, so he has to buy. Miles does not have to worry about anything this week. He's perfectly fine, and he will be playing the winner of my matchup, Peter and I. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, me and Peter matched up last year in the championship for the league. Miles was the commissioner, and I won. So this is Pete's time to get revenge on me. It should be a good game. I'm expecting for Peter to put up a fight. I'm not expecting him to back down. His lineup: Mahomes, Mixon, Travis Etienne, Keenan Allen, Jalen Waddle, Dawson Knox, Garrett Wilson. Broncos defense: Brett Maher, Dallas' kicker, and he has Waitman, the punter for the Broncos. I have Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Ramondre Stevenson, Mike Bencham, depending on how his status goes, Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Dalton Schultz, Chris Godwin, Chiefs defense, Justin Tucker, and the punter for the Giants. So I feel like I have a good chance in the lineup. It all just depends on how Ramondre Stevenson, his status is. Because I do feel like Ramondre can have a big game against the Raiders just because their defense is not that good, but also what I've seen from the Patriots are just bad on offense, man. Outside of Ramondre, I don't like any of the playmakers. Devontae Parker, he's been okay this year. Kendrick Bourne, he comes and goes. Harris, I mean, not the best. The tight ends, Hunter Henry, Johnny Smith, they have not produced at all. Hunter Henry was solid last year, but it just hasn't worked out for them. And Mac Jones, he just simply has not looked good. I'm not going to put too much blame on Mac because I do feel like having Joe Judge and Matt Patricia really as like your coaches for the year on offense, I don't feel like that's helped him at all. If not, I think he's regressed. So hopefully maybe this offseason Patriots get somewhat of a new offensive coordinator that can help them call plays and maybe develop Mac Jones a little bit more because at this point it might have just shown maybe last year was Mac's ceiling. That was his ceiling. I hope it's not. Just for simple fact, I do feel like football is more fun when the Patriots are competitive. No, considering they've been competitive for so long, but now it's more of a level playing field with Mac Jones and Bill Belichick. So I feel like if the Patriots are competitive, football will be more fun. But yeah, if not, I have to bench him for Aaron Jones, and Aaron Jones is also questionable with an ankle injury. So I'm kind of monitoring that to see how it goes. But man, this is gonna be tough. Now it's lose and you go home. There's no more second chances. So everyone knows that obviously fantasy football playoffs, it's tough. It's very tough. So I'm not gonna beat around the bush saying that it's easy. No, like rethinking every little decision. I mean, I've rethought of a lot of decisions. Most of the time I just stare at my lineup for like 2 hours throughout the whole day. Like if you total the time I looked at my lineup like 2 hours and I just go, okay, what if I do this? What if I do that? Calculating all the numbers in my head. it's tough because obviously you want to win, and especially in our league where there's the money and the trophy involved. But the other matchup happening this weekend in our playoffs, we have JP against Alex. And I wanted to talk about this today because both of them had players last night. Alex had the 49ers defense, and JP had Geno Smith and Christian McCaffrey. So right now, currently at this moment, JP is up 41-10. Alex is down by 31, but according to ESPN, the projection, JP is expected to score 139.9 points. Alex is projected to score 140 points. So the differential is 0.1. I'm really excited to see how that matchup ends out because Alex has had one of the top scoring teams of the year, and JP has been on a scoring streak lately where he's racking up the points. And last night, Christian McCaffrey gave him 25. Geno Smith gave him 15. I feel like what really helped JP was that roughing the passer call that got called back, because I feel like that would have really hurt his stock in terms of points, and that would have helped Alex with points. So that was definitely a big play in terms of the matchup right now, because who knows, maybe Alex is up, maybe, Alex would still be down, but at least maybe, who knows if Alex have maybe 14 or 16 points, depending on how the scoring would have done and how many yards would have happened after. But I'm interested. I'm interested to see. I feel like that will be the closest matchup. I feel like me or Peter, I feel like it'll be close, but I don't feel like it will be as close as JP and Alex. I feel like that is probably the matchup of the weekend. And the winner of that matchup will play Nick, who is the 1 seed in his division, so he has a bye as well. So Myles and Nick have the 1 seed. They both got the bye, while Peter and I battle it out to see who plays Myles. JP and Alex battle to play Nick. And we'll see. Next week will be the semifinals. We're going to break that down for you guys. Myles will be here to talk about his potential opponent, whether it's me or Peter. And we're going to try to get someone else in from a different playoff league, so that way we can see how they're doing in the playoffs and see maybe how their league is vastly different from ours, because I know when we have punters, not that many leagues do. But I will say, for anyone, a sneaky pickup I believe everyone should try to go get. I'm going to say Trevor Lawrence. After this week, he plays Dallas. I try to pick him up. Pick him up a week before, because in the championship weekend, if your championship is the second to last week of the season, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars play the Houston Texans. Try to pick him up. I feel like that will be a much upgrade if you are kind of uneasy with your quarterback at the moment. I feel like it's definitely something you can do. If not, I say Jared Goff. Jared Goff is going to be playing the Bears that weekend, so I say either or. I feel like it will be a great pickup depending on who you want to start. So I would recommend Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence as a sneaky pickup if they are free agents in your league right now, and you have a valuable quarterback that can start these 2 weeks and might have a tough matchup the last week. Just pick them up now, put them on your bench, so that way you just write out your starting QB who you've had since then, and then just last week, if you feel comfortable putting Jared Goff or Trevor Lawrence in that last week in that championship game, do it. It's all about matchups. You need to do something in your favor in order for you to win. I mean, come on, you got to do it. You can't second guess it. Go with your gut. And that's what I'm going to have to do eventually this weekend between Ramondre Stevenson and Aaron Jones. If not, I do have Jared McKinnon as insurance of that, but depending on the time of the game. So I'll have to see about that. And before I go into my last topic of the day, I do want to give a shout out to the presenting sponsor of this podcast, E2G Sports, where you guys can get your latest updates on all things on sports from NFL, MLB, NBA, where you can read your sports news on their website, e2gsports.com, or listen to the podcast audio version on their website as well. If not, you can go to their YouTube channel, where you can find us, several other podcasts, mainly Boston-related sports, because this network is based out of Boston. But if you are a Celtics fan, or you just don't like the Celtics, hey, check it out. See what they have to say. Maybe you have a different opinion, or you have something you want to say. Don't be afraid to reach out in the comments. And yeah, subscribe to the channels. If you guys want to see, we are on platforms of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. E2G Sports is all over, and we are happy that we keep putting out content for you guys in the world of sports. And now for the last topic of this short podcast, Dolphins versus Bills preview. Now, if Myles wasn't doing anything, I'd be really excited for this to see what he says. But I will say for this matchup, man, I feel like if the Dolphins win, it's a close game. But I will not be surprised if the Bills win by a lot. So it's definitely up in the air because these teams are pretty heavily matched, but the weather conditions will be a factor because they are talking about they will see maybe 3 to 7 inches of snow. I don't know who on the Dolphins outside of Tyreek Hill has had experience in games of snow, but the Dolphins have played in Buffalo a lot where it has been cold weather and it hasn't turned much in their favor. So they do have experience, but they just haven't had the experience of winning those games. So, hopefully things change. Now there's a new helm with Mike McDaniels and Tua having much more confidence in the offense. So we'll see. And I'm pretty sure Tua wants to bounce back after the bad stretch in those games in California against the San Francisco 49ers and the LA Chargers. So I do feel like it could be there, but I also wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if the Bills won by a lot. The Bills are getting healthier. Without Von Miller, they still have guys coming back from IR. Josh Allen is still playing solid. Stephon Diggs is still having a great year. Oh, they're getting the run game more involved. James Cook is now getting more touches. I can see Dawson Knox getting a lot of touches depending on how the field is going to break down. So yeah, I feel like this is the time that Buffalo wants to prove they are a Super Bowl contender and that this is their year to do it. This is the game to do it. You got to beat Miami. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to avenge the loss where the weather conditions in week 3 really helped Miami because it was scorching hot. For anyone who doesn't know, me and Myles, we live in Miami. That day was just simply not fun at all for anyone, the fans, the players. It was hot. It was legitimately hot. Like, to all the players who got cramps that day, I I felt your pain. Note, I didn't play, and I was even scorching. I was like, man, I need to get out of here. So I will try to see now. We went from a really hot game in Miami in week 3 to an extremely cold game. Well, I wouldn't say extremely cold, a cold game in week 14. So I'm excited. This is definitely going to be fun. I do feel like there's a lot at stake here with this game because if the Bills win, they take control of the AFC East and maybe can clinch it soon. Meanwhile, if the Dolphins do, it's huge. It would be a season sweep of the Bills. They will regain some momentum to win the division. And all they have to do is essentially say, we just need to tie Buffalo and we win. Because the head to head matchup will be the differentiator. So I do feel like this is a huge game for both sides. But I do see Miami. If you put me on the spot to pick a winner, I'm going to say Buffalo. I feel Buffalo has a much better chance of winning this game. I just feel the weather conditions play out more in their favor. Plus, the defense is getting a little bit more healthier every week outside of Von Miller. So, yeah, I will say Buffalo wins this week, and I can see the point differential maybe being like 10 points. I can see like a 10-point swing. The only reason I haven't seen this offense play in such a cold weather game, and it's huge. Those cold weather games, like they're not fun. Considering all the stories I've heard from former NFL players on Get Up, Fox, all of the sports channels, they all say it is a tough environment to play in if you are used to playing games in the South or in California or Texas. It's not fun playing those games. So I do see, I think Buffalo has this advantage and they should win this game. But that will be it for me today, guys. I hope you guys had fun listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Like I said, sorry Myles couldn't be here. He was taking care of some personal stuff, but don't worry, he will be back next week. Me and him are going to talk Bills Dolphins. We're going to talk some fantasy football. We're going to see if I'm matching up against him or it's Pete in fantasy football. And yeah, next week we're going to try to put out same amount of episodes for you guys because we got a lot in store for the NFL weekend. A lot of scenarios are going to be out for the divisions on who wins. The playoff picture will be more projected. We could see which teams now are most likely going to be in, and maybe we could determine matchups. And yeah, outside of that, this was fun. I hope to see you guys next week. And until next time, peace.